So, Hare Krishna, I welcome you all devotees, Prabhujis and Matajis to today's class. We are in the section part number 3 of Bhagavad Gita. We have covered from Karma Yoga to Bhakti Yoga and to Gyan Yoga. And why Gyan Yoga is given in the end after Bhakti Yoga, some kind of knowledge is essential for developing devotional service or for some kind of bhakti. Without knowledge, bhakti cannot be performed. And in this section, chapter number 12, Bhakti Yoga, the last chapter was chapter number 12, that Lord Krishna, after describing in detail talking about Karma Yoga, Gyan Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga in great detail, the last chapter of this Bhakti Yoga says that ultimately devotional service is the supreme. And that is how by performing pure devotional service, a devotee can get freedom from the cycle of birth and death. Then this is a broad summary, chapter number 13, we discussed about nature, enjoyer and the consciousness, and then we discussed about how to philosophical knowledge is essential for getting freedom from the cycle of birth and death. And bhakti through knowledge was the theme of this section, and ultimately how one can attain pure devotion. And chapter number 14, we discussed about 3 modes of material nature, because all activities are motivated, of living entities are motivated by 3 modes of material nature, and the soul is pure has a pure consciousness in the beginning, but how these 3 modes of material nature bind the soul like a rope, and soul becomes conditioned, and the living entity forcibly or compulsively acts under the influence of these 3 modes of material nature. And in the end of this chapter, 3 modes of material nature, Lord tells how one can transcend these 3 modes of material nature. And this was chapter 14. Chapter 15 was about the banyan tree, about the yoga of the Purushottama yoga, the yoga of the Supreme Person, how we are living in this material entanglement in this material world, which is just a replica or inverted image of the real spiritual world, and how living entities were jumping from higher branches to lower branches, which represented higher and lower planets. Secondary roots represented activities. The Vedic hymns, leaves, but then the sense objects, the tricks and ends represented senses and sense objects. And the activities were related, and this inverted tree was based on nourished by 3 modes of material nature, and based on the desires of individual. The person who is desireless is liberated, and when he is liberated, he is in a spiritual world. He is not in the. So this is how, and all the activities. In fact, we will remember in this Purushottama yoga, all the activities were motivated by the nature of a particular person. And in the last chapters that we studied, chapter number 16, it mentioned about the 2 types of qualities which motivated an individual to act under certain mode. And those were demonic qualities and divine qualities. In the demonic qualities, we remember that these were faithless people. They did not have faith in scriptures, and they acted independently and whimsically. So, and the nature was demonic, and Lord Krishna described in great details, verse number 4 to the last verse, the demonic qualities. And last, in the divine qualities, they were 26, and how person can escape from the cycle of birth and death and attain the supreme abode. So now two categories are very clearly defined in chapter number 16. That is the one who has divine qualities, and the other who has demonic qualities. So that means there are 2 classes of people: the people with faith and people who don't have faith. That is, they are faithless. So between these 2 categories of faith and faithless, there is a third category which we are going to discuss in this chapter number 17, the Shraddha Traya Vibhag Yoga, or the division of faith. And Lord Krishna, Arjuna asked this question: what happens to those persons who are neither faithless nor have faith, but they have faith in something which is various other aspects, like they create their own God, or they have got some faith in something which is not prescribed in scriptures. So what happens to them? That is the question we are going to have in this chapter someday. So this is a small chapter. I'll try to finish in 2 sittings. It has got 28 verses only. So before we start, somebody would like to say the prayers. Anyone?
Yes.
Please raise your hand and come forward.
May I, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, please continue.
Chanda here.
Yes,
Prabhuji, may I?
yeah, I don't know who said first. Whoever has said. Yeah,
I'm Chanda.
yeah. Chanda Mataji, yes, please continue.
Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So this is chapter summary, broad summary of chapter 16, the transcendental demonic qualities, that is divine, and those 1 to 3 was divine qualities, and then up to 6 it talked about demonic qualities. And then demonic nature, based on nature, the activities are performed by the individual. So that's it described up to 20, and 21 to 24, the choice was given whether one wants to practice demoniac qualities only and reside in this material world, or go down to the lower planets, or rise above these, adopting divine qualities and go to supreme destination, Lord Krishna's. So this chapter has got 6 sections, and first section deals with one's modes, determine one's activities. Whatever mode we acquire, that is goodness, passion, or ignorance, accordingly our actions are. We adopt those qualities, and based on qualities we perform or we act. So, and then 4 aspects are given here. In the 3 modes of material nature, that is goodness, passion, and ignorance. The quality of food, which one consumes, and what type of food is contained in particular type of mode. Similarly, sacrifices or yajna performed in 3 modes, what is their outcome, how they are performed, who performs them, what is their outcome, and ultimately who accepts those sacrifices. Similarly, about austerity and charity in 3 modes, that is described in these verses B to DE. You will notice that there are 3 verses in each of these sections. For each of these items, food is described in goodness, then passion, and then ignorance. Similarly, sacrifice, austerity, and also charity. And lastly, the conclusion that Om Tassat, because we have already heard this term that is used before all the Vedic hymns are sung or all prayers are made. Om Tassat is the first word because it is an offering. So detailed meaning of what Om Tassat is there, that is shall be described in this chapter. So this is synopsis 16 explains the divine qualities. I'll just skip it because we have discussed these things. Now, section A. Yes, Chanda Mataji, please continue with couple of slides and we'll have some other devotee.
Yes. Summary section A. Once more determine one's activity, faith and worship in the modes. Arjuna Uvacha Ye Shastravidhi Ye Shastravidhi Mutshrijya Jayante Shraddhanvitaah Tesham Nishta Tuka Krishna Satvamaho Rajastamaha. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what is the situation of one who does not follow the principle of scripture but worships according to his own imagination? Is he is goodness in passion or in ignorance?
So, as I just mentioned, Ye Shastra Vidhim Utsrajya Yajanti Shraddhayanavita Tesham Nishta Tuka Krishna Sattva Maho Rajat Sama. He asked that what happens to those persons who do not have who do not side with faith, who do not possess divine qualities in all, and their actions are not according to it, and also those persons who are completely faithless. But these persons, this middle category of persons who are neither faithless nor have faith in Krishna. So there is a third category, and this category, in the in-between category or middle category, they create God of their own imagination. They do not follow the scriptures God. Like these two examples are given here through pictures, Scientology and flying spaghetti monster. This is a flying spaghetti monster is a school of thought, a kind of church in Western countries where they have their own religious concept, their own concept of God. Similarly, Scientology is another science where people have their own faith system, own God system. They don't believe in a traditional church or traditional God or Bible, such kind of things. So Krishna Arjuna is asking where should we place these persons, because we have seen that there are three modes only. They are modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So where do these people fit? Because in goodness, we know people follow the scriptural injunctions. In passion, people are too much engrossed in material entanglement and sense enjoyment. They know scriptural injunctions but do not follow. And the third category is the ignorance, the people in a mode of ignorance who do not know any scripture, they do not possess any knowledge and act independently. But they do not create their own God. They do not create following of their own. They know, but they do not practice. They know partly, but they are engaged in so much of, irreligious activities that they do not know the concept of God at all. So this is a question, and Lord Krishna is going to answer this question. So we have two categories: people with faith, with divine qualities, people who are faithless, who possess demonic nature or demonic qualities, and third category in between, who do not follow scriptures, who do not follow scriptural injunctions, but they create their own faith system or say religion. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. त्रिविधा भवति श्रद्धा देहिनां सा स्वभावजा सात्विकी राजसी चैव तामसी चेति तां शृणु. The Supreme Lord said, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can be three kinds: goodness, passion, or ignorance. Now hear about these.
Tamasi chetu satviki rajasi chaiva dehinam sa swabhavja tribidha bhavati shraddha. Tribidha, three types of shraddha is there, or faith is there. Now, faith is based on three modes of material nature. We can see here that pure bhakti, there is a bhakt, there is a jnani, and there is a karmi. Krishna is at the supreme. For a bhakt, he starts with rises from the mode of goodness to sattva, shuddha sattva state, then adopts pure devotional service, and then prem bhakti, bhav bhakti, prem bhakti, and ultimately he attains Krishna. A jnani is working very hard. He was also from mode of goodness, he also rises to sattva state. He is not shuddha sattva state. That is pure transcendental state is shuddha sattva state. And he is in a transcendental state. But the knowledge is pure. But his knowledge is based on jnana, of Ashtanga yoga or yoga. Then ultimately he wanted to merge into the Brahma Jyoti and attain liberation. By merging, he wants mukti. But a devotee does not want mukti. He wants from bhav bhakti to prem bhakti wants to render eternal association of Lord, and also wants to do loving devotional service to Krishna. Whereas Jnani wants to merge into the Brahman Jyoti. And lastly, the karmis, they are in a rajasic, or they are in a mode of passion. Ultimately, they rise to modes of passion. They from passion, they are involved in fruitive activities, that is karma. Then thereafter, after attaining karma, they move on to the higher stage. And ultimately, they may rise to nishkam karma, and ultimately they may also get some kind of liberation. But these three modes of material nature, one can rise from mode of ignorance to passion, passion to goodness also. Now here about these, Krishna says that now he is going to describe all these three modes of material nature. How can one rise from ignorance to passion, or passion to goodness? Here the importance of bona fide spiritual master and association of pure devotees is very essential. Because the knowledge of rising from ignorance to passion or passion to goodness, who is going to provide us in the living entity by himself cannot attain this knowledge, because the knowledge is so vast and knowledge may be distorted if one tries to learn by himself. So that is the importance of spiritual master. Now Krishna is going to describe in the verse number 3, these three modes of material nature. Yes, Prabhupada Mataji, the three fates.
Hare Krishna. O son of Bharata, according to one's existence under the various mode of nature, one involves a particular kind of faith. The living being is said to be of a particular faith according to the mode he has acquired. Bhagavad Gita 17.3.
Thank you, Mataji. So, O son of Bharata, according to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith. Now, how one evolves? Because living entity is a social entity. Now, they come in contact with many people based on their mode of material nature. That is, whether they are in goodness or passion. Accordingly, they develop their own company or their own circle of friends or associations. The result is they are bound within that particular section. Either if the people are in mode of goodness, then he is bound by mode of goodness. People in mode of passion, then that is how faith develops. If a pure devotee always wants to remain in this association of pure devotees, so when he's in pure devotees, his faith will also be according to his company. Similarly, a person in ignorance, if he remains in the company of ignorance, his faith will be distorted. He will be faithless, because the people in mode of ignorance are faithless people. And if in mode of passion, then the similar kind of activities or mode will be developed because of the association. So, but some people deviate from this path and they develop their own faith. The living entity is said to be a particular faith according to mode he has acquired. Now, but some people, the question which Arjuna has asked here, they develop some different kind of faith. These four pictures are given here. The first picture on the top, you can see a devotee is there. He is faithful, has divine qualities, and he is engaged in the devotional service of Lord. And picture at the bottom, you can see the people in ignorance, they are indolent, they do not possess any knowledge, they do not believe in God, they create their own God. You can see in the middle of night, they are worshipping some tree or some maybe animal, or doing some kind of, black magic or some kind of tantric worship. So they have their own faith system, which is not prescribed in Shastras. And there is a third category you can see in the middle. There is a person who is sitting on a royal chair, and there are people who are worshipping him. For them, this is a person who is God there. So these people are in mode of passion. So in mode of passion, people choose their own God. We know political in some part of India, there is a idol worship, and there is a worship of certain film heroes. There are worship of certain political leaders. For them, they are their God. So they have, but such a worship is not prescribed or sanctioned in scriptures. They have created their own God, who is a living entity, in fact, subject to all kind of three modes of material nature and activities which may be divine or maybe demonic, but they cannot be God. God is prescribed in the scriptures only. Yes, Mataji, this third verse number 4.
Yes, Prabhuji. May I read this?
Yes.
यजन्ते सात्विका देवानक्षराक्षांसि राजसाः प्रेतान् भूतगणाश्चान्ये भजन्ते तामसा जनाः. Men in the mode of goodness worship and demigods. Those in the mode of passion worship the demons, and those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits.
Thank you, Mataji. So this is described in the picture. The people in mode of goodness, they worship demigods. Demigods, you will remember in earlier chapters, Krishna has, in fact, mentioned that people of alpa buddhya or low intelligence, they worship, go to demigods and they worship them because the results are quite easy and early and fast also. So they take up a shortcut and worship demigods. They do forget that demigods are just like servants or ministers in the ministry of Krishna or Supreme Personality of Godhead. And whatever powers they have, those have been delegated by Lord Krishna unto them only. And thereby they can give benedictions or boons to the devotee. But they have to seek sanction of Supreme Personality of Godhead before granting those boons to devotees. But people who are lazy, who have given up, scriptural injunctions, who wants a shortcut and quick results, and they consider the worship of Krishna is very troublesome, so they faithfully worship these demigods because they know the results will come very fast and soon. So this is one mode. And second, the second picture is, this is a demonic person, because this person sitting on the chair has got a lot of false ego, pride, and he's proud of his possession, his power, his position, which are demonic qualities. Such persons are worshiping in mode of passion. People worship in the demons. And in the mode of ignorance, last picture, that is the worship of ghosts and spirits, because these people do not possess any knowledge. Because of their association with or particular material mode of nature, they are worshipping spirits and ghosts to attain certain kind of, occult powers or opulences. So you can see these pictures, the same thing. These are pure devotees. Then this is a black magic kind of, they have created their own god, and they are showing his opulence with fire in his hand, burning flame on his hand, and believing that it will not hurt him. So this is just a imagination or kind of, self-created God which person is worshipping here. Yes, ma'am, Mataji, 5 and 6. Thereafter, Recharge and Mataji, you wanted to say, so you can take up from 7.
Yes, Prabhu.
May I continue this one, right, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji, please continue.
Okay.
Chanda Mataji, please.
Yes.
5 and 6.
अशस्त्रविहितं घोरं तप्यन्ते ये तपो जनाः दम्भाहङ्कारसंयुक्ताः कामरागबलान्विताः करष्यन्तः शरीरस्थं भूतग्रामं चेतसः मां चैवान्तः शरीरस्थं तान् विद्यासुरनिश्चयान्. Those who undergo severe austerity and penance not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride, egoism, lust, and attachment, who are impelled by passion and who torture their bodily organs as well as the super soul dwelling within, are to be known as demons. Thank you.
Mataji. So we can see that what is the basic purpose of living entity? To realize the soul and super soul, to render the devotional service to Supreme Personality of Godhead and go home back to Godhead. That is the purpose of human life, or the highest goal or supreme goal of human life or living entity. But these persons, out of ignorance, because they possess demonic qualities like pride, egos, lust, attachment, they have a faith in show business. They cause lot of many kind of bodily tortures, and they forget that within this body the super soul is lying. So whatever torture they are giving, partly the super soul is also getting affected by it. So you can see these pictures here. The person is with half of the trunk and head, neck down into the earth and doing some kind of austerity. And this person with, again, same kind of picture. And then you can see these pictures where the demons, they are trying to hold everything in their hand and show their extra powers. So these kind of austerities, they are performed in mode of passion because they want some certain kind of recognition, pride. They have lot of lust and attachment, and they for enjoying themselves. So these actions are basically foolish because they are torturing soul, super soul also. So similarly, these are some of the austerities or activities which are being performed by people in mode of ignorance. Kashyante sharirastham bhutgram achetasam. That means they are giving lot of torturing their bodies. They are giving lot of pain and torture to their body. So this is performed. These activities are performed in mode of passion. The same thing is given. Those who undergo this same verse, the translation of verse number 5 and 6 in case where only the pictures are done. Yes, Richard and Mataji. Now,
Prabhu,
just a minute. Now Krishna is describing about the food in 3 modes of material nature. Ahar, he is going to. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, can we quote the example of Ravana who cut his head and offered it to Lord Brahma several times?
Yes, Mataji. These are Ravana, Kansa performed, and Hiranyakashipu, he performed severe austerities to please demigods. He was doing those austerities or tapas not to please Lord Krishna because he was envious of Krishna or Vishnu. He was trying to please Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma. Such demons try to please demigods. This is what was mentioned earlier, that out of lust and this men in mode of goodness worship the demigods because they want quick results. They are easily pleased also. And they give benediction also. We will remember that Hiranyakashipu was given this benediction that nobody can kill him. And ultimately, what happened to Bhasmasur? Lord Shiva gave him this benediction that nobody can kill you. So they because the demigods are easy to please and they give benedictions indiscriminately, I would say, which is not recommended in scriptures, which is not approved by Lord Krishna himself. So this is how ultimately the fight between the demons and gods continued eternally in the Loka. So these are some of the pictures given here. Now he is talking about ahar, the kind of food one consumes in mode of goodness, in mode of passion, in mode of ignorance, and the kind of food which results into certain kind of qualities, and qualities dictate the actions of an individual. And what Krishna approves, patram pushpam phalam toyam, yo me bhaktya prakshi. Krishna does not want, Krishna wants just simple, very simple food which consists of dairy products, which consists of fruits, which consists of vegetables only. That is the ideal food in mode of goodness. Yes, but we will come to it anyway. Please continue.
Yes, Prabhuji. Aharistvapi sarvasya trividho bhakti priya yagaspastatha danam tesham bhedmimam shrinu. Even the food each person prefers is of three kinds, according to the three modes of material nature. The same is true for sacrifices, austerities, and charity. Now, here of the distinctions between them.
So now 4 things are described here. Lord is telling about what is the impact of the mode of nature of a particular person on sacrifice, on food, sacrifice, austerity, and charity. Charity is, I would say, food taken in the mode of goodness. What are foods are included in this mode of goodness, and what is their impact on the living entity. Similarly, for the mode of food in the passion, and its impact, and also, so verse number 18 describes, so this is a summary. Yes, Mataji, please read. Identifying
Mode of faith. By observing the activities, identifying mode of faith by observing the activities of eating, sacrifice, austerity, and charity. Wise, those who know and discriminate based on these activities. Foolish, those who consider all kinds of food, sacrifice, etc. to be the same and does not discriminate.
Thank you. So that means one has to discriminate what one should eat, what one should not eat, what kind of sacrifice and how sacrifice is to be performed, what kind of austerity to be performed, and when, and with what mode. That is most important. The charity, we know, charity we have already discussed in previous chapters and verses, that people normally do, the charity should be given out of duty, because person who is rich, he has a duty to help those persons who are not so rich, or who are needy or hungry or need some kind of other help. So this should be considered as a duty. And person who is in mode of passion, he does charity to get respect, honor, to get recognition from others. He's not concerned that whether he doesn't know that it is a duty to do charity. And in mode of ignorance, it is just for ulterior motives. It is not for either in mode of passion or not of goodness. And it is such a charity is not only harmful for himself, but also for the person to whom this charity is being. So for each these factors, 4 factors, eating, sacrifice, austerity, and charity, Lord Krishna is going to describe. So first is in food in the 3 modes. And verse number 8, 9, and 10, they describe. So this is a repetition. Yes, please, Mataji, continue. Verse number 7.
Tvapi sarvasya trividho bhakti priya yagaspastatha danam tesham bhedmimam shrinu. Foods in the mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify one's existence, and give strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Such nourishing foods are sweet, juicy, fattening, and palatable. Foods that are too bitter, too sour, salty, pungent, dry, and hot are liked by the people in the modes of passion. Such food cause pain, distress, and disease. Food cooked more than 3 hours before being eaten, which is tasteless, stale, putrid, decomposed, and unclean, is food liked by the people in the mode of ignorance.
Thank you, Bhate. So, incidentally, there is a mistake here. This is verse number 17.8. Aharastva api sarvasya trividho bhavati priya yagnas tapas tatha dhanam tesham vedam imam shunu. So, food in the mode of goodness increases the duration of life, purifies one's so this the effect of food taken in mode of goodness, the patram pushpam phalam toyam, the food which is consists of dairy products, fruits and vegetables, and is not very hot, not very sour, does not contain too much salt or other ingredients, is simple. It gives strength, health, happiness and satisfaction. It purifies one's existence. So duration, life, these are the 5 advantages, six advantages which when a person consumes food in mode of goodness happens to. Such nearing, what are those fruits? Foods in mode of goodness? They are sweet, juicy, fattening, and palatable. Foods that are too bitter, too sour, salty, pungent, dry, and hot are liked by people in the mode of passion. So people in mode of passion, they want some kind of fast food, which is not good for health, does not give any kind of strength, but rather causes diseases or increases blood sugar or blood pressure or something like some diseases are caused. So such in mode of passion, food causes pain, distress, and disease. Food cooked more than 3 hours. This is very significant here. The food starts, whether we keep it in refrigerator or deep freezer, the food if kept for more than 3 hours starts decomposing. The process of decomposition does not stop. It is only slowed down by keeping the refrigerator or freezing the food. So ideally, one should consume a freshly cooked food only, not leftovers or 1 or day too old. That is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. And Lord Krishna is telling this thing. So it becomes tasteless, stale, putrid, decomposed and unclean, and liked by people in the mode of ignorance. So 3 types of categories are given here, 8, 9, 10. What is in mode of goodness? It is juicy, palatable, it is fattening, and also it is sweet, and increases the lifespan of person, gives good health and also satisfaction. So this you can see here. This is a picture of cheese which has got some kind of yeast. Yeast, is a kind of fungus which helps in growth of this cheese. And the food which is shown above is hot. It is in fact it has lost all the food values in itself. Then food in the, yes, Mataji, read this one. I think it is the same thing they are repeating. The pictures are to be described. You can see the food which is hot, very hot, is not good, pungent. And the last picture you can see some kind of, cheese or cottage cheese or something. There are insects there which are making it. So such food is food one should take in mode of goodness only, which is sweet, palatable, juicy, and also increases the lifespan, gives good health, strength, and also gives satisfaction to individuals. So that kind of food is required. But why this distinction on 3 types of food? Because the choice depends on the mode of in the mode of an individual. A person who is in mode of ignorance, he will like to eat meat, drink wine or some kind of alcoholic drink, get intoxications which are detrimental to his health. In mode of passion, person likes to eat food which is fast food, like pizza and all those kind of fast foods, which are, though palatable, for the time being one enjoys the taste, but they are ultimately harmful because they cause disease. And the third category, if a person is mode of goodness, then he will consume food which is juicy, which is sweet, which is palatable, which is also, fresh, and that gives us a lot of satisfaction, good health, no disease, happiness, and ultimately lifespan is also increased. So the three kinds of food are described here in three different modes. And ultimately, this is the food which we offer to Lord Krishna. We know that we do not, we always offer freshly cooked food to Lord, and then after consume it as prasadam. But those foods which are kept for a long time in refrigerator or have passed their life of more than 4 months, 4 hours or 3 hours, they are not good for health. So these foods are recommended basically, the fruit and the freshly cooked food, which is all vegetarian, made of rice and some kind of pulses and other things. So this is recommended food. And the other pictures are also given. This is Cheeto, but I don't know, there's some kind of, fried material snacks that you get in the market. So that was 8, 9, 10. Mode of goodness, mode of passion. These three verses were given. This is verse number 11. Yes, Mataji?
अफलाङ्कारशीभिर्योग्यो विधिष्टो य इज्यते यष्टव्यामे वेति मनः समाधाये सात्विका. Of sacrifices, that sacrifice performed according to duty and to scriptural rules and with no exception of reward is of the nature of goodness.
Now, after food, we have three, based on three modes of material nature, a person consumes food of his choice. Mode of goodness, mode of goodness, mode of passion, and ultimately the mode of ignorance. Now they are talking about sacrifice, yajnas. Yajnas, we know, are prescribed duty under the in the Vedic injunctions. So, yajna should be performed to please Lord Yajna Purush, and who is Krishna himself. Vishnu or Krishna himself is the Yajna Purush. We should offer everything as oblation to the sacrificial fire, as an offering to Lord Krishna. So, because he has given us everything, so consuming anything without offering to Lord becomes a sin. If people eat food without offering to Lord or taking it as prasadam, that becomes a sin. It is a sin if we don't, if we eat something and we not. Now, there may be situations, when you are at home, you can offer, prepare a dish for Lord and cover it and offer it to Lord, saying your mantras. Then after, leave it there for some time so that Lord consumes, and then you mix it with your entire food, and that becomes prasadam. So that prasadam is in mode of goodness. Now, but if you are traveling, say you are outside or somewhere else, then at least mentally we can offer food to the Lord before consuming ourselves. We can say a couple of mantras which we have shared in Vaishnava prayers. So we can pray to Lord that please consume it before I could take as prasadam. So this is a practical application of what we can do, whether traveling or some other place or some, we are invited for a dinner or something, or even consuming anything. And Lord has said that I'm the taste in the water. When we drink of water, even if we are drinking water, let us think of Krishna. Let us pray that Lord, please accept this water, which is your giving, and then consume it. So we can do these things, very, very small things in our life, which are practicable and which do not require any endeavor or a lot of effort also. So that is how we can express our obligation, our obeisances, our respect to the Creator. So of sacrifices, now sacrifice yajna, that sacrifice performed, now it is a duty, in mode of goodness. For a Brahmana, it is a duty to perform sacrifices. So sacrifice performed out of duty. And as per the scriptural regulations, not just you can have your own method of doing sacrifice and without reciting those mantras and without those offerings to oblations to demigods, whatever is offered to demigods in sacrifice is ultimately reaching Krishna, because they did not accept it. They again in turn offer it to Krishna. So of sacrifices, the sacrifice performed according to duty. A person considered it is my duty to perform yajna, and as per these rules, and with no expectation of reward, because it is an offering, our prayers of our expression of your gratitude towards Lord, that Lord, you have given us all these things. So I offer it to you. Please accept it so that I may consume it afterwards. So there is no choice for reward. Now, it is not like this, that then we know that in the normal Brat Katha, Satyanarayan Brat Katha, everything was linked to some or other kind of fruitive results. When the daughter birth took place, then I will do it. When marriage takes place, when marriage took place, then again it was postponed to some later date. So there was some kind of desire, some desire of fruit, that when I become rich, when I will have child, then I will do. No, the time is passing very fast. So one should not have any kind of postponements in doing his duty. So that is the message here. So the sacrifice in the mode of goodness should be done as part of duty, as part of scriptural injunctions or orders, and also they should be done without any kind of expectation of results. That after doing sacrifice, I will get promotion or get this kind of. Yes, Mataji. This is pictorial summary of verse number 11.
Sacrifice in the mode of goodness. According to the directions of scripture, no mental speculation, performed only as a matter of duty. Example, to go to temple, church as a duty and not for economic benefit. Duty of every civilized man to obey scriptural injunctions, to offer respect to Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yes.
Desire no reward. General tendency is to offer with a purpose in mind.
So when it is done in mode of goodness, so according to scriptural injunctions, there is no mental speculation, there is no desire for any kind of benefit result, and it is performed as a part of duty. Now, in mode of goodness, there is no mental speculation. But sometimes when it is done as a, as a part of duty, like regularly visiting temple, deity worship, going to church or temple, and do worship as per the scriptural methods, then offering respect to our Supreme Personality Godhead, that is in mode of goodness. So that is to offer with a purpose in mind. General tendency is to offer with a purpose of mind. That means there should be no desire for any kind of reward when one person is doing this sacrifice in the mode of goodness. And what happens in the mode of passion? This one, yes.
Abhisandhaye tu phalam dambharthamaphi chaiva yat ijyate bharat shreshtatam yagyam vidhi rajasam. But that sacrifice performed for some material end or benefit or performed ostentatiously out of pride is of the nature of passion. O chief of Bharatas.
So now doing sacrifice for a purpose or without following the scriptures injunctions or without any kind of faith, that is mode of passion. Material end or benefit performed ostensibly means that as a matter of show that I am doing this yajna, so I'm a supreme person and I must be respected and honored by others and recognized, and there is a photograph in the newspaper or magazine, then I'm happy. So this is ostentatiousness, and it is done out of pride and self-ego to show oneself that he has all these resources. So this is done in a mode of passion. This is not recommended. A person in other words, if we say that a person who is in mode of passion, he would like to give a show off of his the performance of sacrifice, not for considering it is my duty, I have to do it without any desire for results, and also following the descriptions. Such a person who is in mode of passion, his sacrifice is also reflected by these bad aspects. And this is in mode of passion, ignorance, sorry. Can anybody tell what is this picture going on?
Prabhuji, it seems he is Ravana, I think. Yes. He's just cutting his head and offering to Lord Shiva. So, in desire of not being killed by anyone.
Yeah, yes, Mataji. So this is a great sacrifice, which is sacrifice of self, sacrifice of bodily organs. He cut his hand, he cut his body parts and offered it to Lord Shiva. So that, as you said, that he wanted to be immortal. He didn't want that anybody could kill him ever. And he was such a demonic nature person that he was building a staircase or ladder right to the higher planets, to Swarga or Indraloka, where he could go without leaving this material body, right from earth, ground to the Indraloka, alive. And not only himself, he wanted all his citizens as subjects of Sri Lanka to go along with him straight to the Swargaloka. So this kind of austerity is in mode of ignorance, because what he is doing, he's torturing himself, his body, and the body is given by Lord Krishna. So he's torturing, in fact, the boon or the benediction which Lord Krishna has given him, and he's torturing his soul and as well as super soul. Everybody is in pain and distress by such activities, but he is ignorant. He is so proud of himself. He wants to attain strength, a place of honor amongst all. So that is all in the mode of ignorance. Scripture, this kind of sacrifice is not recommended in this scripture. This kind of activity is not recommended, and such person is not following any hymns or the mantras which are prescribed in the shastras. So such person are bewildered, they are deluded, they are under the influence of Maya and pride and false ego, pride and self-prestige. So they are faithless. Apparently, he is trying to please demigods. And demigod is kind enough to grant such boon to such demons also. That is why Lord Krishna does not approve much of the demigod worship. He says, do not disrespect demigods, because they are also his creation. We cannot disrespect which is created by Krishna. So he says, do not disrespect them or disregard them. But worship is to be done to the unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead only. Yes, anybody else would like to read? Riya Mataji, Riya Mataji, you are there?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So section D, we'll try to finish this one.
Okay.
Yes, Mataji. Austerity.
Austerity in the modes.
So we have discussed ahar or the food in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Then secondly, we have discussed about the sacrifice. What is the mentality of people in goodness who perform sacrifice, mentality of people in passion who perform sacrifice with what objectives, and the people of in ignorance we have just seen. Yes, Mataji.
The division of faith. Austerity of the body, space, and mind. Body, space, mind.
Austerity
of the body.
Yeah,
austerity of the body.
Austerity of body. What activities are to be taken while we do austerity? Austerity means a kind of sanyam or control, or kind of austerity means like getting up at 4 in the morning or doing japam and attending Mangala Aarti. It is an austerity. It is a sanyam or kind of self control or exercise. Yes, Mataji. Austerity of body.
Worship, austerity of the body, worship of the Supreme Lord, Brahmanas, the spiritual master and superiors like father and mother, cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence.
So by austerity of body is meant, First is worshipping whom? Supreme Personality of Godhead. Second, whom? The Brahmins or the Vaishnavas. Third is spiritual master. These, and fourth, all elders, including our parents, we should worship all those people. So this is austerity of body, right? Second, how to maintain the body itself now. Austerity includes cleanliness, internal cleanliness by chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and external cleanliness by taking bath, brushing teeth, clean clothes, clean dress, and offering bhoga after putting on after bath and or clean clothes only with clean hands. Simplicity means no show business, and celibacy means being faithful to the married partner only. That is celibacy. And if it is a person in brahmacharya ashram, then of course celibacy has a different meaning than there. And non-violence, not to hurt anybody by word, physical hurt, mental hurt, or verbal hurt. So any kind of these activities, mansa vacha karmana, if one is doing any activity which is causing any kind of distress or harm to anyone, that is included in non-violence. Non-violence does not mean killing only or not killing. It means not hurting anybody or not causing any kind of harm or distress to anybody. That is also included in non-violence. Yes, Mataji.
Austerity of speech, speaking truthful words, pleasing, beneficial, not hesitating to others, also regularly reciting Vedic literatures. Hare
So
Krishna.
speech means words satyam briyat priyam briyat, satyam apriyam na briyat. One should not speak untruth words. One should speak truth only. And if he is not able to speak truth for certain reasons, should keep quiet, but should not speak. They should be pleasing to others. That means one should not get mental hurt by listening your words. They should be beneficial, means they should be promotive. Here, by beneficial we mean that one should speak words which are helping other person in developing devotional service and faith towards Krishna. That is beneficial. Other things are material. Beneficial here stands for spiritual benefit. Spiritual benefit is talking of Krishna, the name, form, attributes, and also the pastimes. Nam, Roop, Karm, and Lila. Nam, Roop, Gun, and Lila. That is such talk is beneficial for self as well for others, and not agitating to others. Ugra Karmana, we have just now passed through this term. Ugra Karmana, the people in mode of ignorance, they are doing activities which are very, very dangerous, very distressful, and very painful to many others, like creation of atomic bombs or creation of certain, deadly weapons or drugs, like intoxicants. These are ugra karmana. And of course, chanting of Vedic literature or reading. So it's listening to Bhagavad Gita. What we are doing, we are also regularly reciting Vedic literature. The Bhagavad Gita, we are listening to. So this kind of speech is recommended in mode of goodness. That is austerity. Yes, Mataji. Body, speech, and mind. Riya Mataji. Anybody else would like to take over? Probably she's.
Prabhuji, no.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. It was mute actually.
Okay, yeah, please. And Mataji, you can take after her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah,
Prabhuji.
Austerity of the
Sure,
mind,
Prabhuji.
Yeah, please continue.
gravity
Riya Mataji,
in
you
thought.
finish up this one. Sorry. Riya Mataji,
Okay.
finish up this, and next Mataji will take.
Okay. Gravity of the mind, gravity in thought, satisfaction, simplicity, self-control, purification of one's existence. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So gravity of the austerity of mind. How we should control our mind and senses. How should we control our speech? There is in nectar of instruction, there is a verse, Vacho Begam Manasa Krodh Begam, Jivha Begam Utro Pastu Begam, Etan Began Yu Vishayat Dhira, Sarvam Apimam Prathvim Shishya. The person who is able to control his speech his actions of his mind, mental demands, the actions arising out of anger, the urges of, tongue, belly, and genitals. If such a person is able to, a sober person who is able to control the urges of mind, urges of speech, urges of mind, urges of krodha, urges arising out of jiva, urges of stomach and belly, he is fit enough to make disciples all over the world and be acceptable as a spiritual master. And this is what Srila Prabhupada, you can see here. He had perfect austerity of body, mind, and speech. And in fact, why it is required? It is required for pure devotional service. Person who can control his speech, his mind, his anger, his tongue, his belly, and his, anger, and also speech, and also the genitals, he can control everything, and then he is in mode of goodness, established in mode of goodness, and he can make disciples all over the world. So this verse perfectly applies to Srila Prabhupada, who made disciples, millions of disciples across the world. He single-handedly, without any resource to begin with. So that is how, and he was completely satisfied. He never demanded anything. He was sleeping, eating very little, sleeping for 2 to 3 hours only in 24 hours, always talking of Krishna, thinking of Krishna, talking of Krishna, and working for Krishna. He was very simple. He had perfect self-control, and his internal, because of chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he wrote so many books, so many Vedic scriptures he translated and written the purports. So he was internally purified and externally very simple person. So he is role model for us, and he is the supreme spiritual master in ISKCON. So how this, yes, Mataji, austerity of
Hare
the,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
yes, thank you.
Deva Dvijguru Pragya Pujanam Shaucha Marjavam Brahmacharyam Hinsa Cha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. The austerity of the body consists in this worship of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the spiritual master, and superior like the father and mother, cleanness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence are also austerities of the body.
Pictorial description we have seen before. Dev means God, Dvij means Brahman, Guru means spiritual master, Pragna, Pujanam, Sausham, Arjavam, Brahmacharyam, Ahinsacha, Shariram, Tap Uchyati. The austerity body consists worship of Supreme Personality of God, that is Deva Puja. Dvij Puja is Brahman Puja. The Guru Puja is spiritual master's worship. Pujanam, Shaucham means cleanliness. Arjavam means Arjavam means being simple or simplicity. Brahmacharyam, celibacy. Ahimsa, non-violence. Cha, shariram, tap. Shariram, tap means austerity, or this tap of sharir, or the austerities of body. So these are called austerities of body. Yeah, now austerities of, yes, Mataji, speech.
Anudvegakaram
Yeah.
Anudvegakaram Vakyam Satyam Priyahitam Cha Yata Swadhyayabhyasanam Chav Vangamayam Tapa Uchyate. Austerity of speech consists in speaking truthfully and beneficially, and in avoiding speech that offends. One should also recite the Vedas regularly.
Thank you, Mataji. So this is the example of Maharaj Yudhishthir, and he is a perfect example of austerity of his speech. He spoke very less, and he spoke only very reasonable words, which were pleasing not only to himself, but also to others also. So this is the example of Maharaj Yudhishthir. And please read quickly this verse number 16, then we will end, because
Manah prasadah Saumitvam Mon Mamat Matma Vinigraha Bhavanshu Dvedhiri Yet Tappo Manasamuchyate. And serenity, simplicity, gravity, self control, and purity of thought are the austerities of the mind.
Thank you, Mataji. So here this example is given here. Can anybody describe the picture? Okay, let us stop here because it is already 6 past 8 and the other batch must be waiting. So I have to end here. I posted the link in the chat box. Please fill in your attendance so that we will discuss this austerity of speech, mind and body in the next session also. That is verse number 15, 16 we will take up. We can't have any questions now. Prabhuji and Mataji. Dear
This picture
Mataji.
is related with Shukdev Maharaj and Vyasa, Ved Vyas, his father. That ladies, once they,
Yes, yes,
I mean,
Mataji.
all
Yes,
ladies
thank you.
saw.
Please, no, you're perfectly right. We will discuss it in the next session. That is on Monday. So,
Hare Krishna.
वाञ्छितकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय, भगवद गीता की जय। Hare Krishna and Dandavat Pranam to all devotees, Prabhuji and Mataji's. And thank you for your association this evening. We'll meet on Monday and we'll continue with austerity. We'll begin with austerity, that is verse number 15, 16 and 17. So thank you very much for your
Hare
association.
Krishna,
Mataji.
Prabhuji.